Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It is your purchase and pricing email question line for buying this or any watch you see on any Watchbox platform. Please reach out to me directly. Email tmosso@thewatchbox.com for pricing. Today, we're discussing a 2022 update of a model originally launched in 2021. This is the Bulgari Octo Finissimo Chronograph GMT, full stainless steel, 43 millimeters, 100 meters, water resistant, new 422, this lovely silver satin dial. So this is larger than the original 2019 Octo Finissimo Chronograph GMT, but it's also a lot more durable. So it's 43 millimeters in diameter. It's a still slim 9 millimeters thick. From lug tip to lug tip, just the case is 50.9 millimeters, and then end link to end link, it is 54.6 millimeters. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. You get an immediate sense of how large this watch is. I believe that my wrist at 16 centimeters is probably the smallest wrist that could wear this watch. It is fairly broad, and you can see it's pushing right out to the edge. When you look at it down the barrel, so to speak, you can see that, again, it is right on the edge. Not over, but right on the edge. It is, however, quite thin. You can see bringing my sleeve back into the frame. This is a watch that would have absolutely no trouble sliding underneath a dress cuff, even though it is thicker than past Octo Finissimos. It is still quite slim for a dual-time automatic chronograph. Taking a quick look at the bracelet, what's fascinating here is that we actually do have conventional spring bars fixing this bracelet. So whereas a lot of integrated bracelets can't be subbed out for straps, this one can. And if you had a good enough custom builder, you could probably get an aftermarket strap built for this, whereas something like a Nautilus or a Royal Oak is going to be more challenging, and overseas is going to be almost impossible. But in theory, you could get an aftermarket strap in there if you wanted to. Bulgari has strap options that I know will fit. The bracelet is tapered. You can see that it features little recesses that have high polish. The outer faces have high polish. The primary links are satinated. It's quite thin. You can see it's fixed using bars, and the bar fixed removable links are many in number, so you have a lot of degrees of adjustability. There is a recess inside the bracelet where it abuts the clasp, and the reason for that is that the clasp will close, and then the combination of the clasp and the bracelet is only as thick as the bracelet links by themselves, keeping this super slim on the underside of your wrist. It's a friction fit snap shut double folding clasp that says Bulgari externally. And then we roll back to the case, where you could see that it has many facets. In satin, in polish, it has curves, it has creases, it has angles. There's a lot going on here. Bulgari claims no fewer than 110 individual facets, and while I haven't counted, it is lots upon lots. Now, there are a lot of clashing elements that are designed for a calculated dissonance. You can see that there's a rounded off polygonal form underneath the perfectly circular bezel, and then that rounded off polygon actually features again inside the watch underneath the sapphire and within the bezel. We have a circular outer bezel, circular inner bezel, circular sapphire, and then we have a lot of angular facets. That continues inboard. We drop down from that inner rounded octagon to a satin finish dial. It is a vertical steel-like satin grain from top to bottom. We have polished hands at center and then satin finished applique indices, giving the watch a nice upscale look. There is a trigger over at 9 o'clock that indexes the local time zone. So the way you set this watch, we'll stop the chronograph for the time being, take that out of the equation, but the way you set this watch is that you pull the crown out, and I want to emphasize that when the crown is out, this is one of the few Octo Finissimo models that has hacking seconds. Pull out the crown, it stops the seconds, so you could set this watch to a reference time. Now I adjust my local time, but I also adjust my 24-hour second time zone, which hides over at 3 o'clock and at first glance looks like it might be part of the chronograph register system. That's actually your second time zone in 24-hour format with a darkened semicircle representing the places where it is currently night. So I set that little reference time zone, and then once I've done that, I kick my local hour into its correct position. That's how it works. Here we have a screw-down crown. It's double knurled with a little scratch-resistant ceramic cabochon. Again, 100 meters water-resistant here. The original Octo Finissimo Chronograph GMT was only 30. This is a full-service sports watch. Automatic winding, stainless steel, 100 meters water resistant, and well loomed. In fact, it has two-tone loom with green for the hands and blue for the numeral and the indices. Taking a quick look at the chronograph pushers, you can see, like the trigger for the secondary time zone adjustment, beautifully integrated into the case band, and we have column wheel action here, so a super crisp feeling column wheel, one of the best I've experienced, and you can actually see it through the reverse of the case in action. The movement, the BVL 318, is actually not a BVL 138 with a chronograph GMT stuck to it. Instead of using the automatic from the Octo Finissimo automatic here, Bulgari took 2018's BVL 288 automatic tourbillon, removed the tourbillon mechanism, kept the platinum peripheral rotor, and then stuck the chronograph GMT mechanism in the donut hole inboard of the winding system. So you get automatic winding by a platinum peripheral rotor, a very exotic system, both in terms of the metal used and the winding profile itself. Peripheral rotors are rare. 55-hour power reserve. It has a 4 hertz beat rate. It pivots on 37 joules. It has a full balance bridge, dual anchored for better shock tolerance. It has a lateral clutch to go with its column wheel action. And the movement itself is only 3.3 millimeters thick, but impressively 37.2 millimeters in diameter, so it fills up this large, expansive case back. Also impressive is the finishing, a judicious blend of manual and mechanical finishing that compares favorably to what you'll get from, for example, Jaeger-LeCoultre or FP Journe. It gives a good account of Bulgari watchmaking, which is now fully integrated. They make every part of a watch in-house. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.